What's up, guys? ATCG here. Welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck of the Day. Today we're going to do an update on a deck that we did recently, but because it got so much good support in the new Legendary Duelist Magical Heroes, Dark Magician is getting closer and closer to becoming an actually viable Tier 2 strategy. I think it's still missing a couple of pieces. The most important one being, of course, Dragoon of Red Eyes, but that's a boost for any deck, but especially for this deck because you do run Dark Magician in your deck inherently, so it's not like you add any new bricks. But we don't know when Dragoon of Red Eyes is going to come out yet, so we're going to update it once that comes out. But for now, this is how Dark Magician should be played right now. It's actually very consistent, very powerful, and really good against a lot of the meta. So let's begin. Of course, play the All-Star Monster, 3 Dark Magician. You have to play 3 in the deck. You need to see it. You need to summon it consistently throughout the whole duel in order to be able to keep your advantage going. And it's the main monster of all Yu-Gi-Oh! The new support, 3 Magician Souls. This card is absolutely amazing. It's good support for some other decks as well, but in this deck, it's probably the best card that could have possibly come for this deck. It sends you your spellcasters from your deck to the grave. Usually you start off by sending Dark Magician, but then during the late game you have other options to help you filter your grave with more cards that help you facilitate more plays, and it also either brings back Dark Magician, which is usually a going second good play, with Dark Magic Circle in order to banish stuff, or you can summon it on the field and get rid of your dead copies of your extra spells and traps in your hand to try to dig for something better. This card is absolutely amazing for this deck, and I am truly happy that Konami decided to print such good support for the deck. 3 Rod, standard. Rod searches you any kind of your Magician spells and traps, so you can get access to whatever you need. 2 Apprentice Illusion Magician, still at 2. She is not that bad. She searches your Dark Magician. Sometimes you need to get access to it. There are a lot of ways to get access to your Dark Magician now, a lot more than before, but still Apprentice Illusion is not a bad card to have in the deck, and of course it can also act as a hand trap or as a fill effect to boost your Dark Magician in order to be able to get rid of some monsters. 1 Dark Magician Girl. I do not run the new trap that came out in Magical Heroes, but I run a card that actually uses Dark Magician Girl very consistently in the deck, so I just run the 1 copy because you can get her from anywhere, so you don't need to run more than 1. And I also run the 2 Palladiums, Palladium Oracle Mahad and Palladium Oracle Mana. These 2 are not the best cards for the deck, but there is a reason behind running them, and it's another new card that came out. You can get access to mana very easily with Magician Souls because when she's in your hand or graveyard and your opponent targets one spellcaster monster you control, you can special summon her, and it prevents your level 7 or higher spellcaster monster from being destroyed by card effects. And also she also floats to Dark Magician Girl while destroyed. She's not that bad. And Mahad, when you top deck it, you can special summon it. If it battles a dark monster, its attack is doubled and floats to Dark Magician, just like Mana floats Dark Magician Girl. They're not 2 horrible one-offs, but they have a great use in the deck, and now I'm getting to the spells and I'll explain exactly why, which is the new card, the new spell that came out in Magical Heroes, which is Soul Servant. This card is another amazing piece of support for the deck. It probably fixes a lot of problems. For example, the first effect is that you can stack on top of your deck a card that lists Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl. So you can pretty much make use that you would never have a dead Magical Circle in your hand, because there were a lot of times previously that you were using Dark Magical Circle and you would not be able to add anything. So this card is amazing, but its second effect is even more amazing because you can banish it from your graveyard and draw cards equal to the number of Dark Magician Girl, and Palladium monsters in your field or graveyard with different names. So in a standard build, you will be able to draw max 2 cards if you play Dark Magician Girl, but in this build where you can get access to Mahad and Mana very easily, you can draw up to 4 cards, which is crazy for just a card, and you don't even have to use the first effect nor to use the second, so you can just send this card from your deck to the grave to get a draw, which I'll explain a bit later. But this is such an amazing card, just like Quick Play, so you can stack your draw phase if you want during your opponent's end phase. It's really, really good card, and it gives you whatever you need in that scenario. 3 Circle, of course, standard. It's the main disruptor of the deck, and it also gives you more cards. 2 Bond between Teacher and Student. I like this card in the deck. I don't see a lot of people play it, but especially now that you have a way of getting Dark Magician on the field during the first turn with Magician's Souls. Previously, you would have to play a card like maybe like Ancient Rules, Cosmo Brain, or Dark Magic Veil, which were really bad cards. But now you have a really good card in the deck that can get you Dark Magician on the field during the first turn. So with this, you can special summon your Dark Magician Girl and set the most amazing kind of disruption the deck has, which is Dark Burning Magic. As a quick play card, this card will destroy every card your opponent has if you control Dark Magician Girl on the field. So it's a really good card which you can get with your Bond with Integer and Student. And I also play Dark Magic Attack and Thousand Knives. Dark Magic Attack is accessible both by Eternal Soul and your bond between teacher and student, and you can also search Thousand Knives with your Eternal Soul, so you can have spot removal. Another new piece of support, Dark Magic Secrets. This card is actually an okay fusion spell for the deck. It's a good one-off just because it was searchable. Before, people would mess with cards like Magicalized Fusion, but you needed to draw that card in order to use it. This you can search it whenever you want with either Soul Servant, Circle, or your Rod, so you can fusion summon to the new monster that came out in Magical Heroes. And one illusion magic, because sometimes you need that one searchable way with Rod to get your Dark Magicians to your hand because you don't have access to it any other way. For the generic spells, two Foolish Burial Goods, because, like I said, Soul Servant's Grave Effect is actually the most broken part of it in this particular build because I run both Palladiums, so I need to be able to send to the grave as fast as possible. And it's also a great top deck because if you don't have anything and you top deck this, then you can potentially draw up to 4 cards, which is insane for a single card. One Foolish Burial. This is usually to send mana to get to access to more copies of cards that you can draw with Soul Servant. But if you already have mana, you can send cards like Dark Magician to bring it back from the grave with Eternal Soul. Through Super Poly, this deck doesn't care about its extra deck all that much. So I think maining Super Poly is a really good kind of way to break boards and also have an extra disruption. And of course, when Master Rule 5 comes out, this card is going to be even more broken, but even right now, it's still really good for the deck. And one Upstart, because if you combo this with Soul Servant, you can pretty much search any card in your deck. And for the traps, 3 Magician Navigation, the best trap in the deck. This card gives you 2 Magicians on the field, and you also get a later on spell and trap negation from the graveyard. You usually get your Dark Magician, your Dark Magician Girl, your Prince Illusion Magician. You will go for your Dark Magician Girl if you hard drew or searched your Dark Burning Magic, and you will go into a Prince Illusion to get another search and also have a way to boost your Dark Magician. And 3 Eternal Soul. This card protects all your Dark Magicians from your opponent's card effects. It resurrects them each turn, and it also searches spell and trap removal and monster removal. Of course, it does have that nasty drawback, which is usually the lose condition of the deck, which if it's removed from the field, it blows up all your monsters. But the way you can minimize the cost of that happening is with the Palladiums and the new fusion monster because they float when destroyed. So you can potentially get more monsters on the field, and mana also protects your field from this drawback effect. Now for the extra deck, the Dark Magicians, just one copy because I play one copy of Secrets. It needs a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl and one Spellcaster monster. It is constant advantage on the field because when a spell or trap card is activated during your turn and during your opponent's turn, you can draw one card, and if it's a spell or trap, you can set it and then activate it during that same turn. And it also floats into both Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl when destroyed. So it's a really good card. You can get the advantage during both turns, so your opponent has to give you that +1 if they want to play, or awkwardly play around it somehow. So yeah, I think it's a really good card. You can also play around with Eye of Timaeus to summon this, or play with other fusion monsters like the one that protects your back row. But I think this one has the most utility. Now I play a lot of Super Poly targets because, like I said, the extra deck is kind of irrelevant. So Starving Venom, the new Predator planet that needs 3 monsters. This will not come up too often, but just in case your opponent somehow gets 3 monsters on the field that are darks, then you can completely blow them away with this card, and it also has an effect that negates summons. Dragostapelia, mainly for monsters for decks like Pendulums, which summon fusions, but they're not dark, so you don't have access to Starving Venom. Violet Chimera, because Salamangreat, of course, is still a really good deck. Deep Elixir Chimera, a second target for against Salamangreats, or if you're playing against any other of the Cybers decks like Marineses or the Attic Listers that are coming out very soon. And one more Dragon, because there are certain matchups where this card can come up, so it's good to have it, just in case. For the rank 7s, Draco Sack and Big Eye, I don't run Evil Illusion. I don't think it serves any purpose because it does the same thing that the deck does, getting more Dark Magicians on the field and banishing cards, which pretty much, yeah, Dark Magic Circle does that already. So I think these two offer some more utility. Draco Sack to deal with some floodgates most of the time, and Big Eye to maybe possibly take control of your opponent's negating monsters if they have already used their negation effect. So you can use it yourself the next turn. And for the links, Link Rebo, because Magician's Souls is level 1, so maybe you need that down arrow. For a Nightmare, Link Spider, because you need sometimes to get your... If you already have access to one Dark Magician, then you need to get rid of it from the field and bring it back with Eternal Soul to possibly pop another card, so that's why it's here. One Phoenix to pop back row because the deck has only one good way of inherently pumping back row, so maybe sometimes you need to get rid of something first in order to get going. One Unicorn. One Ingirsu because of Link Spider and Link Kuribo, it's very easy to summon this, and you don't even have to send yourself because sometimes you will have a lot of duplicates or dead spells and traps in your hand or field, so you'll be able to use them as fodder for an Ingirsu effect. And Boral Sword because it's Boral Sword and it steals games from out of nowhere. So, yep, that's the deck. It's a really, really fun deck. It has become a lot better over the years. The support was actually exactly what the deck needed, just a little bit more, and the deck can actually be a tier 2 contender for the meta. So, when we know when Dragon of Red Eyes is released, we will do an update for that deck with Anaconda. But until then, I hope you have fun enjoying playing this deck as much as I do. So, yep, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel if you want to see more awesome content like this, and we'll see you next time.